Oh yeah, it is Wednesday Hump Day, Alex. Good morning to you and good morning to everybody. Alex Dunlap, how you doing today?
No, doing great, brother. Just got a bunch to get to today. Have to crank out all the info that we have before I have to get out of here to do a career day at my kid's school tomorrow. I'm just like, my daughter has been bugging me to do this career day. She really wants me to come do it. I just say, like, why do you want me to do? I figure there's probably not too much time left where she's gonna want her dad to come up and
Well, that's true
say,
too.
so I figured, yeah, if she wants me to come do, but I
So
don't know what's.
you're gonna tell him about a career as a what, Alex? You do like 3, 4 different things. So what career are you focusing on?
I guess just a content creator. I mean, I own a fantasy football company, and I do radio on Sirius XM, but I also write for Orange Bloods, and I cover the team, and we do this show, and I guess I don't know. I was like, how am I going to spend 20 minutes doing this stuff? And then I thought to myself, dude, I've been doing this show daily for a whole year, man. Cranking out 20 minutes talking to these kids about what I do. It probably won't be too hard. I feel like I've gotten some
Alex,
practice.
here's what you seriously. The kid, my kid never cared about anything that I did in life. Like he didn't know anything about my skins on the wall or anything like that. But the moment he discovered that I was actually on YouTube, that is really what happened. If you just tell them strictly, Alex, I'm giving you some good advice. All you got to tell them is that I do shows on YouTube. You will have their undivided attention. That will be better than roster watch. That will be better than anything else. Tell them you do YouTube shows and content create on YouTube. You will have their undivided attention.
Yeah, talk about thumbnails and stuff. We don't even. I don't even make the thumbnails. I don't even know. Anyway, yeah, big show we have in store for you guys today. We're going to talk about some Longhorns intel that we've gotten, and really not. For one thing, I couldn't believe this yesterday. I was talking to a few people, but it seems like a lot of these players have already kind of gone back home, and it's like a bunch of finals have already taken place. It's weird. I remembered that finals when I was in college, we didn't get done with finals till mid. I guess, are we close to midway through May? Yeah, I guess they're kind of starting to. Well, not midway. What? We're good. I mean, what's today? The 10th or something? What is today?
8th.
May 8th. Okay, so it feels to me like this thing went deeper into May when I was in college, but a bunch of people be kind of home now, and it feels like whenever these guys get home and they're around their parents coming into this next year, that this is when the agents start to really swoop in and really start getting trying to figure out who signed with who's like which guys are already signed. And who is still out there as an available target. So have some information about that as far as just kind of what we're hearing, because yesterday I did get calls from two different, not yesterday, on Monday I got a call from one agent. Tuesday I got a call from one agent looking for contact info for players. So I'll tell you some of the information that I picked up from those guys. And also we have a new report that's out from Peter Nakos on Twitter. I guess this guy's he looks like a young kid, man. He might be older than this, but he is with On3 transfer portal reporter. He said this kid, Johnny Bowens, and this confirms something that our guy Zach Sim had in the Orange Blood Slack. Johnny Bowens, the third, 4-star recruit out of Texas, has been with Oregon. Last year, played in 3 games, only 11 snaps. It's looking like Texas could be interested in this guy, so he could be back in the whole portal combat transfer market with this player. So we will talk about that. Bunch of other stuff to get to, but Onward, I just think it's what. How do you feel about this? The same agent, and I'm sure people know his name. I don't want to put any agency names out there, right? But the same agent that had Byron Murphy last year, this year is going to get Quinn Ewers and Kelvin Banks. That
agent's had Quinn for years.
Yeah, right. But I'm saying, like, I think it's wild that he's gonna have a run I'm talking about in the draft. right?
Oh, okay.
When
That's
you're
what you said. You said okay, gotcha. You said when you said get him, I was like, I thought you meant like acquire, like sign him.
well, no, I mean get 3%, like send him off into the NFL draft, right? Get
Gotcha.
the do that stuff, and it makes me think, dude, that's an incredible run at one school for sure. And so guys like that have already they've already worked their stuff out, and I don't know if people maybe Anwar, can you talk a little bit about how this stuff works? With the agents, when it's allowed for them to start talking with them, because you know that Quinn's been with this guy for a while. People know that this might have changed with the whole stuff with the NIL and all the rest of it, as far as having agents. From before we just talk about some of the players that these agencies were asking me about and some of the certain things, can you talk about how this goes and how it might have changed from previously, as far as these early contacts with the agents?
Yeah, I mean, so previously, guys going into their senior year would start getting in, having contact with agents, and there would be the runners who would be on campus that would be kind of the middleman to kind of give the agent a little bit of cover as far as I may try to sign you, so on and so forth, and then you kind of would have to wait till officially guys were done and with college to officially sign, even though for the most part they had already been in contact with the agents kind of under the table. Well, NIL has changed that, because NIL has allowed people to have, they're basically agents, and these agents essentially what they do now in college football is that they help these guys get NIL deals. And through helping these guys get NIL deals, the hope is when they turn pro, it's kind of like, hey, you know what I did for you in college, so therefore let's keep this relationship going as far as the NFL draft is concerned. So you that's why I say a lot of these guys have had agents pretty much out of high school at this point, where they've had a guy who's represented them, Mulligata. How do you say Mulligata?
Dave,
Is that
Dave Mulgeta, man.
Mulligata?
One of
I'm
my
sorry.
friends from back in college. It's crazy that Dave Mulgeta and I came up together doing this, trying to just sleaze around the Senior Bowl as complete outsiders and stuff like that. And look where he ended up, and look where I ended up. Man. It's like,
Well,
it's
he
crazy.
he
Yeah,
clearly had a bigger vision.
yeah, I think so. I
That's
think
for
so.
sure.
I
But
think
he's
so.
he's a big time guy that has guys, has guys in college, and then continues those relationships, within the NFL. So it continues that way. So I'd be interested, because most guys, it really, Alex, I'll say this and I'll turn it back to you. Usually, I feel like, maybe the best time to get them is like freshmen and sophomores, when they may or may not have representation at that point. Because usually going into their senior year, junior, senior year, they've already had somebody.
Yeah. Well, that depends, right? Because it feels like there's two different. So, all right, there's a lot of ways that we can go off from here. I think that the first thing is, if you do get a guy as a freshman, sophomore, you're not one of these. You're not one of these Dave Mulgeta types. You're not one of these SSG types. You're not somebody with athletes first, octagon. One of these, right? And you're kind
Mhm.
of a guy that's just trying to be an opportunistic dude. You see, you're good at business. Maybe you have a degree in law, and you're a family friend of one of these players, and you'd like to get your foot in and see about making some of this, some of this agent money, right? Well, I think if you take an opportunistic approach and sign one of these guys, I think probably what's going to happen is when it comes time for the NFL stuff, you're probably going to get fired, right?
Mhm.
You're gonna be the one that got to be their agent during college, but somebody's gonna come in and say, well, is he NFLPA certified? Maybe if you took the time during his 4 years in college to get your NFLPA certification, they're gonna ask if he's ever done a contract. Does he have any NFL clients? Does he know any GMs? Like, can
Yeah.
he get on the phone with the GM and pitch your services, etc.? So um, there's that. I think the on the other side of the spectrum, if you come in and you're a super stud, if you're like you said, one of these Quinn Ewers, if you're an Anthony Hill, this kind of guy, right? You're gonna already have the big name dudes already on you, right? You have the big name dudes already on you, the ones that you're gonna develop that relationship with through college, and then by the time you get to the NFL, it's just like it's just kind of expected that you stay with your guy. He's your guy. He treated you well through this. Like he's one of the big agents in the NFL, right? It's the reason why these NFL agents do it.
Yeah.
But that also leaves a whole host of players that sort of find themselves in this in between land, right? Where maybe they didn't have somebody super big with them from the beginning, and now they're looking at actual, NFL chances. And I'll just tell you, like we're talking about the level of player we're dealing with here, and this is from an agent who's a higher sort of who's in a higher stratosphere than say one of these new guys, right? We're talking about a guy that has NFL clients, big organization that he works at, still hustling though, not quite at this super agent level, right? But a guy that's got good NFL clients, right? A guy that goes after good players. The players he was asking me about yesterday were, and it's a lot of them. It was I'm sorry. Okay. Ethan Burke, Isaiah Bond, and I think Bond is already signed with somebody, is what I told him. Um, Anthony Hill, who I'm sure he's already done. Baron Sorrell, Jaden Blue, Vernon Broughton, Matthew Golden, Tio Lee Savea, Gavin Holmes, David Binda, Amari Nyblack, Gunnar Helm, Jake Majors, Hayden Connor, and Bert Auburn. These are all dudes that he was interested in contacting, seeing where they're at, and seeing if he can recruit these guys. And the reason why was, then this wasn't what the guy yesterday told me. The guy from the day before told me from another big agency. He said this is a year. He said, look, our agency made a mistake last year not getting in at Texas. We should have foreseen what was about to happen there with the 11 guys going, and we think they're going to be more next year, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they said that this year we're really making a hard push at Texas because we think this is going to be something that's going to be sort of keeping up here, and it would have been real beneficial to us to get into this pipeline with this first big year at Texas, right? They said that they don't want to miss the boat again this year, so they're even now looking at guys like the guys that could make it on the fringes of kind of combine invites and stuff like that. The guys who, I mean, would you have considered Gavin Holmes and David Binda and Jake Majors and Hayden Connor and Bert Auburn the kinds of dudes that these agents would be kind of, like pretty aggressively saying, like, give me their contact info if you got it. Let me know if you know anything about their situation, stuff like that.
No, but the problem that those guys face is, from a Texas perspective, they're on the outside looking in, with those guys. They'd have to go after the fringe guys, because the people who can take care and get NIL deals have already kind of proven themselves to the current Texas players and their families. And I think everybody kind of knows that and is kind of aware of that, so that it's kind of hard to come in, because right now there are agents who have worked with guys who can say, hey, not only did I get this guy NIL deal, but then I also, he's in the NFL right now. And, I don't know who, the other folks trying to get in. It's like, it's a little bit tough. So I'm not saying it's impossible, but I can understand, to answer your question, I can see why they would go after the French guys just to get a foot in the door with you at UT.
But one of these dudes has a foot in the door at Texas. I think there's going to be more. I think there's going to be more interest in the NFL from some of these guys than we think. These agents usually have
I don't know.
These agents usually have a pretty good feel from the scouts, and they don't go out and waste resources on dudes the scouts don't tell them is probably going to cut it. You know what I mean? Like they have to give marketing advances. They have to do, like, it's not cheap to sign. You have to pay them to sign them. You know what I mean? You have to pay them. Now you get the money back. It's called a marketing advance, right? But you are taking the risk of saying, like, well, is he going to have the money to pay me back? Is he going to be a UDFA that makes a practice squad? If so, this $100,000 marketing advance I'm giving him, I'm never going to get that paid back, because I can't garnish 30% of his salary for 3 years to be able to get this money back. So It's interesting to me that we're talking about guys like Gavin Holmes and David Binda and Hayden Connor and Bert Auburn.
Again,
Were they
fringe
on your list
guys.
of guys that were going to go to that are going to make it to the combine?
I don't. I mean, it's early. I mean, I'm not. I won't say no. To that, but it's. They'd have to have some pretty damn good seasons, I would say, for that. I mean, Hayden Connor, isn't he kind of fighting, for a spot in the rotation at this moment, right? I mean, I'm not quite sure. David Bender, what is he, like 6 foot or so at this? I mean, do you have a roster in front of you?
Let me see.
I've stood next to David Bender. He's not.
They probably have him listed as more than 6 feet. That sounds a little bit disrespectful. Let's see.
He's about 6 foot.
Yeah. So Bender's number 33. Yeah, 6 foot 241. You're right.
Yeah. So yeah, he's about six. Okay. Yeah, I've stood next to him. He's about 6 foot. So again, I'm looking at a Hayden Connor. This is why I say fringe. Hayden Connor, who's still fighting for a spot in the rotation. David Bender, who's about 6 foot. So who knows what he'll measure at the combine. Bert, having a kicker drafted is a crapshoot at that point. He'd have to be, phenomenal. And who was the fourth person that you mentioned?
Gavin Holmes.
Gavin Holmes, who'll be a rotational guy, I guess. So yeah, I could. That's what I'm saying. I can see from my perspective.
What about Jake Majors?
Jake Majors right now is maybe like a day 3 guy if all goes well.
Yeah, a sure day 3 guy. You think day 3 guy? You think he'd be drafted? Do you think he's a better shot? I'm curious. Like, this is really up my curiosity. I didn't think the agents of this level would be going after this type of player. Is all. Like,
but if you gotta, that's what I'm saying. Like but to the point, Quinn Ewers, Kelvin Banks, right? All these other like big name guys, like you mentioned, Anthony Hills of the world. They I'm sure John A. Barron, like I'm sure they all have.
Barron's already locked up. I confirmed that yesterday. Yep.
Yeah, so I'm sure they already have guys. So to me, it's about, okay, let me get in with somebody. And I get what you're saying, like, but how much can you invest? What the investment is? What's the ROI? But you've got to. It's like it's like buying in a house. By the way, I gotta say this. It's got to be a fireable offense to send me direct messages during the show if you work for OB. If you work for Orange Bloods and you're sending me direct messages right now asking me questions, it's not a fireable offense, but you have to know by now that I'm actually doing a show with Alex. I'm just going to say that. And I feel like I'm hitting mute and it's not working, Alex. But nonetheless, I just keep getting distracted by stuff that's popping on my screen. That's all, Alex. I apologize for that. I think I've made my point. Let me hit the mute button.
Okay. Who's sending you DMs during the show?
Cody Clearman is sending me stuff like it's like, dude, I'm literally working. I'm doing a show right now.
Well,
like, and he's sending me like multiple messages. Like, Cody, I'm literally doing a show right now.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Well, there's a lot going on behind the scenes at Orange Bloods for sure. But one place that's going to be upfront with you about everything that goes into their products is of course Texas Beef Traders. Texas Beef Traders. Have you been to Texas Beef Traders? Right there in the heart of Lakeway. Look, their herd is straight from Mason, Texas. It's processed right there on facility. You're going to get the meat straight in from the processor right there in Mason, Texas. It goes directly from the ranch right to your plate. Ranch direct, imported from Mason, Texas. No vaccinations, no inoculations, certainly no mRNA business, anything. Nothing weird going into these animals. This is pure, clean protein. We have the QR code that you can use right there. Look, it's not just cheaper than the grocery store. It's not just being sure that you are supporting American farmers and ranchers at a time that they could really use it. It's not just coming at a time when we see meat prices escalating all over the place, right? It's also not just making sure that you put something in your body that's clean and pure and good. It's also supporting a really awesome local business, one that supports this channel, one that supports me, feeds my family, literally. We eat Texas Beef Traders probably 3 times a week around here between steaks, ground beef, whatever. So I talk about them as a sponsor from my own personal experience, from my heart. And look, you get 10% off if you use the Orange Bloods promo code. Just call up there, talk to Darren, talk to Shay. If you don't live close to Lakeway, but you're in the Austin area, even kind of close to Austin, call them, make an order, get 10% off. They'll just bring it to you. You have no excuse. Texas Beef Traders, TexasBeefTraders.com.
All right, all righty. By the way, I gotta say something before I get into it real quick. Sandman, sorry to hear about you and the breakup. I'm seeing you over there in the chat and everything. So I'm sure you it's got to be rough for you. So hang in there, brother. Yeah, you'll be all right. But hang in there. I'm sure it sucks right now. Eric Torres, Eric sells homes DFW. If you're looking for a house in your DFW area, don't have to look any further than our main man, El Presidente's got you covered. It is that time in the summertime. Kids are about to graduate. So it might be a great time to get a deal. Go ahead and sell your house. Maybe looking to buy a house. Maybe you're looking to get a bigger house. So I hear a lot about, all you people who made them babies in the winter. All of a sudden, now them babies about to pop out in the summer and maybe you need a bigger home. Eric sells homes, DFW. He's got you covered. Make sure you don't get taken advantage of. He's a friend of the show, but he'll help out everybody. Eric sells homes, DFW. Check him out. He will take care of you. Buying and selling made easily. Easily.
Well, so we have some buy or sell questions to get to today. A whole grip of them. Oh, look at this, Barry Sorrell in the chat. He'll be happy to know that one agency was asking for his contact information last night. Old Barry and Baron Sorrell might be getting a phone call here pretty soon if they're not already locked up somewhere.
I'm sure they're ready to show me the money.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. You want to go first and buy or sell?
Yeah, I gotta buy or sell for you.
All
right. Kind of along the lines of what you talk about, a little bit different, but buy or sell. Jaden Blue will merge into a first round draft pick. Buy or
sell.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a lock. I mean, I think Jaden Blue is great. There was a question I was going to ask you that I didn't really, because there's a little bit too it's too meta. It was just like, do you feel like it? Do you still feel like if there were betting odds and there were, because I know what the community thinks. I know what it feels like, the counterintuitive take that the hyper-informed Texas fans have about Jaden Blue. They think Jaden Blue is better than CJ Baxter. There's a lot of people out there that do think that, right?
Yes.
Do you think that conventional wisdom, though, if there were a sports book having to take the bets and things like that, taking everything into consideration, that Jaden Blue would be the favorite to be the RB1 in terms of overall scrimmage yards, touches, productivity next year over CJ Baxter?
I mean, I don't know if a sportsbook would take it. I mean, they'd have to factor in that Sark is probably going to name him RB1.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They take in it, like, if they're, and I understand that this sportsbook doesn't exist, right? This is on Warren Alex's fake offshore sportsbook, right? Sweet. Where we can make our own rules. Okay, so taking everything into account that we know, do you think CJ Baxter would still be the favorite to be the RB1 productivity wise?
I mean, no. Because I think we would still take into account that when Blue got in, he might end up finishing with more yards and touchdowns and things to that effect when it's all said and done.
Okay. Well, maybe if that was we're smarter than the people that don't know all this stuff about Texas. I think that there are people out there who would still say that this is CJ Baxter's. That CJ Baxter is in line to kind of be the alpha here. I don't think so. I've come around to the idea that it used to be a real friend. It used to be a fringe idea that Jaden Blue's better is the best out of these guys. I think through the course of camp, we began to think like, well, it's like now it's starting to look like that really is true. Players are saying that he like whenever we got to see practices, he looked better and faster, looked bigger than he had been. So I'd like to think I'm generally on the side of Jaden Blue, right? Even when it wasn't the conventional wisdom, but even so, man, being that big a Jaden Blue fan, he doesn't check enough boxes to be a first round NFL pick. You know what I'm saying? Like, to be one of these guys, you have to be a Bijan Robinson. You have to be a Jahmyr Gibbs type. You know what I'm talking about? It's
Mhm.
these guys just aren't taken in the first round anymore. You know, Jonathan Taylor didn't go first round. Nick Chubb didn't go first round, right? I know Chubb's been hurt, but he's one of the best. He's one of the best running backs in the league. There's all these dudes. They learned after that stretch of Ezekiel Elliott and you know Saquon Barkley and Leonard Fournette and the rest of these guys. These are good players, right? But in the end, it's not. Look at what happened with every one of those franchises that did that. They sent themselves into 5 to 10 years of relative obscurity, right? Especially if they pick up the second part of the contract, the way that the Dallas Cowboys did, send them into cap hell. So you can't expend that kind of draft capital on a running back anymore. And certainly, I think it needs to be. If you do, you got to look at it. You got to point at it and be like, this is a Heisman contender. It's all the this is, you got to be really, really prolific. And I'm not sure that Jaden Blue, if, from one seat, because here's the other thing, you're not going to get taken as a first round pick if you stay in college for 4 years as a running back. They want you out after 3 years to keep the tread off the tires. So he would have to do it this year. If he did it this year, there would not be enough history to point back at and say, he was a truly prolific running back at the University of Texas. So I don't see any way that he'll ever be a first round pick.
All right, fair enough. What do you got?
Okay. How about this? Buy or sell. Texas should go hard after the Oregon DL transfer. Johnny Bowens III, 4-star, came from Texas. Last year played in 3 football games at Oregon. He only played in those games 11 snaps. So he didn't. There's not much we can go back and watch it all from last season, but there was the report that came out yesterday saying that I think the report came directly from the kid because it came from the transfer portal Twitter thing, saying that Texas is one to keep an eye on.
What is defensive lineman though? What position are we talking about?
He's two. I don't know. I mean, he played 3. He was recruited as a defensive tackle / strong side defensive end coming out, but he's now up to 295 pounds and has played at the interior defensive line. I haven't seen his snaps at Oregon, so I don't know whether it's at 1 technique or 3 technique, but one of those two. We're not talking about an end. We're talking about an interior DL.
Oh, well then sure, then I'll buy on that. Sure. I mean, when you got the scholarship room and you can't have enough bodies. He's a freshman, so he's got time to grow and learn and mature. I don't think, if he pans out, great. If he doesn't, oh well. But if you got a guy who's athletic at that position, especially on the defensive line, and he's got some side of agility and mobility, and clearly did enough to land himself in Oregon. And if you say to yourself, okay, Kenny Baker is a guy that can develop talent because coaching is supposed to matter, and that's the reason why you hired him, because he's a good developer of talent, then sure, I would say you go for it. He's probably comparable to the majority of defensive linemen, especially the interior, that they may be able to sign in the 2025 class. So you just get in there, let him sit, let him cook, let him develop, and see if he's ready to go in another couple of years. If so, great. If not, oh well. He would enter the portal, in another 2 years or so, and excuse himself from the mix. So I would say buy. Yeah, absolutely, go for him.
I think it's an easy choice, right? It's you've taken your swing at every single one of these guys, man. Might as well step up to the plate again and just see what happens, man. If at first you don't succeed, right?
Speaking of the transfer portal, all right. I don't know if you saw this thing that Catch posted on here, but do you agree, buy or sell, with Rivals giving Texas a B- transfer portal grade? If you start thinking about
Texas, are we considering for the spring period or for all periods?
The spring period, the key additions they had was Bill Norton, Javion Cole. Key subtractions was Terrence Brooks, and they gave him. It said Norton Norton will help reload it. It's only 3 sentences. Norton will help Texas reload a Texas defensive line that lost Devondre Sweat and Byron Murphy to the draft. Losing Brooks is a blow to the secondary, trying to improve from last year.
No, it's
How
not.
and then he talked about Cole, and his stats at the end of the day. B minus is the grade.
What do they say for Cole?
Nothing more than statistics. The Longhorns helped remedy that with the addition of Cole, who has compiled 7 interceptions over the past 2 seasons.
Gosh, they could do better work than this. Bunch of regular Woodward and Bernstein over there.
I was gonna say that's why I skipped over the Colt. I was like, we didn't tell you anything that you didn't know about it.
No, well, I'll tell you this: Bill Norton was a B minus to C plus kind of addition. Tia Lee Savea was a B to B plus kind of addition, and Javion Cole was a B plus to A minus kind of addition. So if we factor in, let's say a B plus, let's say that's a 90. Let's say Savea. What did I say? A B plus.
Well, they didn't put Savea down. They just said during the spring transfer window.
Oh, Savea. Okay.
Yeah,
So
it's
just Cole. It's
just
Cole
the
and
spring
Norton?
transfer. So that's it. Basically, you're basically grading the additions of Norton and Javion Cole and adding in that you lost Terrence Brooks. So Bill Norton and Javion Cole addition, Terrence Brooks subtraction, B minus for Texas in the transfer portal during the spring window.
Okay, well, I'm just trying to. So let's say, so I gave Javion Cole a B plus to an A minus. Let's just give him an average and say a 90, just as low an A as you can get. Okay.
Okay.
I gave Norton a B minus to C plus. So let's just give him an 80.
Mm-hmm.
That puts us at 85, which is a perfect B. But now we need to take into consideration Terrence Brooks. And is Terrence Brooks leaving technically something that hurts, or is it addition by subtraction? I don't know the answer. And the fact that he's having to look at like UTSA and stuff like that maybe points to the fact that if he was an addition by subtraction, maybe Javion Cole is at least an upgrade. If Javion Cole is at least some bit of an upgrade, which I do believe he is. I made the case that he was in my column yesterday at Orange Bloods that you guys can go check out. I'm not gonna say that we're gonna say that Terrence Brooks being gone actually adds to that 85, but I'm not gonna say it takes away from that 85. So I think they're wrong to have it as a B minus. I would have it as a B.
Okay, I think that's fair. The question for me is Cole an upgrade over Brooks?
Yes.
Okay, so then the question becomes and you gave Cole a what grade?
90.
A 90. So
I think he's somewhere between a B plus and an A minus addition. I don't think he's an A plus plus addition just because he only comes from San Jose State. But dude, like I said, when I watched the USC game, I saw enough.
Yeah,
Caleb Williams didn't want any part of him. And he's going up against Brendan Rice. He's going up against Taj Washington. He's going up against Zachariah Branch. Have you watched Zachariah Branch on War? Golly, is this kid a stick of dynamite from USC? We're going to be talking about him. You just wait. Zachariah Branch, wait till we get to the NFL stuff and we're talking about this guy. But look, he held up well, right? Versus those guys. Didn't allow versus USC. USC put up like 58 points on him, 341 yards through the air from Caleb Williams and the backup quarterbacks. Like he didn't allow one single yard. Caleb only threw to him once. We talked about this yesterday. He got Caleb off his first read 3 times where Caleb had to pull the ball, look to other options, go through his reads. On 2 of those, he got sacked. It was coverage sacks because of Javion Cole. And then you looked at the PFF stuff. Did I tell you the PFF stuff yesterday during the show? I don't think I did.
You did, but I mean, you can recap it for those who missed the show.
Well, I mean, look, it's just like, so let's see. So I just wanted to go through even if even if the USC game, I figured, what if that was a big outlier? It was the season opener. Caleb Williams couldn't have been, the best. So out of 50% all FBS corners that played at least 50% of their team's coverage snaps in 2023, that was 226 total players. So Javion Cook was 26 of 266 in the PFF cockamamie coverage grade. He was 43rd of 226 in reception percentage allowed. He was 4th of 226 in yards after 4th out of 226 players in yards after catch allowed. Only 37 total yards after catch allowed last season. 18th of 226 and the longest completion allowed. 18th being the 18th shortest, longest completion allowed, 28 yards. 51st of 226 for forced incompletion percentage. Tied for 19th out of 226 in coverage TDs allowed. That was just one last year. 17th out of 226 in opposing NFL passer rating when targeted. 57th out of 226 in coverage snaps per reception. 46th out of 226 in pass play tackling run stops. So even in PFF's cock, maybe their grades are stupid, but they do chart all these plays. And for some of this stuff, he's out of 226 players, these volume dudes, he's 4th, he's 26th, he's 18th, he's 17th, he's tied
These
for
are
19th.
a lot of numbers.
It's just
I'm starting to get lost.
it's all top quarter stuff.
Okay.
You asked.
No. It was a lot of numbers. It was a lot of numbers for us. I got lost. Let's do another one.
Whataburger is truly going way downhill.
What's the context for this, though? Are we talking about the food itself, or are we talking about like service? The thing I don't like about Whataburger is I appreciate fresh food, but man, I hate waiting so long for that food, man. Like it's the thought of it's supposed to be fast food, right? It's the slowest ass food you got to ever wait for. So, I'm going to sell on it because I still feel like the quality of Whataburger and the food itself is pretty good. I don't like the wait, and I only have like a 10-year span, and I don't know what the 10 years prior to me living here looked like.
You would have been here while it was still good. I think it's bad now. I think
so. I don't go there a lot. I'll be honest. It's very rare that I go there.
Yeah.
It's a lot of food, a lot of heavy food.
I think somebody in the chat might have said it. Like, did somebody in the chat say it depends on which one? Yeah, it depends on which one you go to. I think it's I think there's some that are still owned maybe by the same franchisees that still keep because it was some cockamamie Chicago company that bought them. And everybody was worried this was going to happen. I think some of the old franchisees still stuck with some of the old, quality control stuff. And it's just, to me, I don't know. To me,
Would you say P. Terry's over Whataburger?
I'm not I don't know. It's probably the buns are too big at Whataburger these days. They don't toast them in the right way anymore. I mean, dude, if it's up to me, like, I'd certainly rather have like Hat Creek or, I mean, if there's a Dan's around, for sure, I'm going to Dan's, stuff like this. But I just, Whataburger used to be the GOAT, man, and now I don't think it's really that good anymore.
I got one for you, Alex. This should hit home too, by the way. The best gift for Teacher Appreciation Week would be significant raises for all teachers. Buy yourself.
Well, I think they'd like that better than an apple or something, wouldn't they?
Then the gift cards that they're getting this week as a supplement for raises. They're like, hey, we're not gonna give you a significant raise, so we'll just let everybody else give you something.
I mean, I think that they get. My wife is in education. She was not in the classroom anymore. She's a special ed admin now. But I think they kind of, I think that they've been pretty good about getting raises these last couple years. I think. I'm not sure it's been a significant raise, but they've been trying to keep up with inflation and stuff like that. Dude, I think that I think that yeah, man, teachers yeah, the best gift for them would can you like the best gift for anybody is to give them a significant raise, right? What is there a gift that you'd like more?
No, we definitely a significant raise. Definitely for teachers. If you, I don't know how often you'll appreciate it. Like when you go to school tomorrow. And I've gone like on a field trip with my son just like like a week or two ago. And I've gone to some school events. I don't know how teachers do it. I don't know how they try to keep up with 24, 20 whatever kids in their
Yeah, I
damn
mean,
classroom.
they're built different. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Just to do that day in and day out, every single day, month after month. Um, yes, for me, Teacher Appreciation Week, I love what we're doing as parents to show our appreciation, the gift cards, the flowers, the candy, all these cool little things. But damn it, give those teachers a significant pay bump. They absolutely deserve it. I think to me, for me, that'd be the best teacher appreciation gift. Not a pay raise. I said significant.
All right. Speaking of things you need a pay raise to be thinking about here, you'd rather have a brand new Tesla Cybertruck than a brand new Mercedes Solera RV. And
Okay,
you
what?
and you can go online and type in a Mercedes Solera RV. Both of these items cost around $100,000 new.
So let me see. Hold on, real quick. Let me look at the Solera RV because that's the only other option for me.
Mhm.
Um, oh, this is not. Oh yeah, this is this RV here. Is this a Mercedes?
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Um, sell, sell. I would first of all. I'm not.
I
What?
thought I might get you on this one because your son loves Teslas. You were saying you say you might win some points from your son for having the coolest Tesla Cybertruck of any dad.
Yeah, but I don't like Elon Musk though, and
What? You
I
don't
want to
like
give.
Elon?
Yeah, I don't
Come
like
on, man.
Elon Musk.
He,
I
he,
don't. There's nothing
he
about him that I
saved
like.
he saved Twitter.
Yeah, or it's somewhat destroyed it in many ways as well too,
Okay.
because you get on Twitter and anytime you try to actually read a comment, you just have all these damn ads that pop up, all these paid things that popped up.
Yeah, that's
I don't
true.
like the idea that you actually have to pay to have a blue star. And somehow that's supposed to have your algorithms and stuff. I would not give Elon my money. I don't want to give him my credit card information. I wouldn't give him anything, to be quite honest with you. I would not give him a dime to do anything. They just had massive layoffs, by the way, over there at Tesla here in Austin. So everything about him is just what I just don't like. So I would much
Hey, hold
rather
on.
just.
You don't like everything about Elon? You don't like
And
all
it's
the
not.
leaders,
I don't think he has a redeeming
Tesla,
quality within him.
SpaceX,
I don't think there's a redeeming quality about him.
SpaceX,
I don't think there's a redeeming quality about him. I don't like the guy.
Neuralink.
You can keep going. You can name it all.
Bringing
I don't like him.
broadband to
I don't
Ukraine.
like him. I don't like him. So no,
No.
I won't give him a dime. That's what. So one of the main reasons I don't pay for Twitter and Sonny Nelson tries to talk me into it and the benefits of it. I just have a personal thing. Like I don't want to give that guy any of my money. So give me the Mercedes RV and let's go from there. All right, I got one for you.
I figured the reason you'd want that one is because of all your son's your son's basketball trips. Be a
Yeah, I
good
like the
RV to
RV.
have for like to go outside during his practice, go out there, watch some TV, take a shower,
Yeah,
drive
that's
back
why I want
home.
the RV.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I wouldn't want to give Elon my money. Buy or sell, Alex. Rock and country music would be more interesting, and musicians diss each other. Buy or sell. Just like Garth dissing George Strait, right? Just like a straight up diss country song or a straight up diss rock song between guys, where they're just like, you know what, guys, band, we're gonna ether this other band.
I guess it would make it more interesting. I don't um especially in country, right?
You can go low in country,
See,
can't you?
it's well, yeah, you figure those because all their songs are just so literal. You know what I mean? Literal to the point kind of songs. You just I can't imagine the diss tracks that come out of that. Nothing subtle about it. Just talking about how this like this old boy's ugly and he's whatever
Yeah.
else.
Take that red solo cup, we shove it up your butt, you know. You
Yeah.
know?
So yeah, I think it would for sure make it more interesting. All
Oh.
right, let's see here. Um, it's more likely that one Texas staff member gets hired away after 2004 than it is for one to get fired.
Oh, that's so crazy. That's so crazy. Um, it's more likely that one staff member gets hired away after 2024 than it is for one to get fired. Well, I'd buy on that because we really haven't seen guys get fired. I think since Sark has been here, the only person he's parted ways with has been Andre Coleman. I think that's been like kind of the only like you need to go somewhere else kind of guy. I think outside of that, no one else has been shown the door. Everybody else has kind of left on their own. So but you've seen more guys get hired away, and that seems to be an annual thing. So yeah, I would buy that more a guy would get hired more likely than it is to get fired. Absolutely.
Which one? Who do you think it would be? Just out of curiosity, or I guess last year you wouldn't have thought, yeah, it's gonna be Jeff Choate. So I
Yeah.
guess it's kind of
Yeah.
hard. It's probably hard to say. But if there's one that they come after, I see South End Zone Queen saying Tashard Choice. I think that's a good one.
Yeah. I
He's turned this
mean,
thing back into RBU, man. That's pretty good. I mean,
I think the thing is though, for choice, you probably gotta bump him to OC somewhere. If your choice, you're making good money, you got tons of running backs, like you don't leave unless you're an OC. And so
what has
someone
Stan Drayton done at his new school? Do you
they've been
know?
bad. They
It's been
have been
bad.
bad.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
They have been bad. I'd have to look up Temple's record, but I know they got smoked a few times last year. He's probably got one more year before he's to turn that thing around. I have some ideas. How about this? Because ironically, I have a question that's similar. So let's further the conversation as relates to this. Okay.
All right.
Um, at least because this is crazy. At least one coach from Steve Sarkisian's current staff will become a head coach in the future.
I mean, I think, yeah, probably. It's just the law of averages, right? You've got what, how 8 dudes? Like out of those 8, he hadn't picked one that's going to be a future head. Like Jeff Banks probably be a head coach and stuff. Once do you know what I mean? He'll probably be a head coach once this stuff runs its course. I think Flood could be a head coach. I've talked about it before. I'm not sure how much he might want to leave. It seems like he would like to have this kind of job at Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think. Tashard Choice has a lot of upward mobility. Heck, man. I mean, Jackson. He's got NFL skins on the wall. Who knows what's going to happen with Kenny Baker? Oh, dude, Johnny Nanson's going to be a head coach. Yes. So yeah. So one of these guys, yes, bye. Absolutely, bye.
Yeah,
And I think that the Nansen thing is he was almost head coach for Arizona.
yeah. So I would agree with just about everyone. I think my sneaky. So first of all, I think the first guy off the board is probably Jeff Banks. I mean, he did have a head coaching interview before, and so I think he's the kind of the natural choice when you start thinking about the things that he's done for special teams and as a coordinator. So I say special teams coordinator. I mean, as a recruiter, he's damn good recruiter. So I think if you can get Banks there and what he's done, and I think Banks is probably still young. What is still in his 40s, I would think.
Yeah, young 40s, I guess.
Yeah, so I think Banks would be the first guy off the board for me. I agree with you. I think Kyle Flood. He's coached at Rutgers. That's a hard place to win. Let's just be honest. That's a hard place to win. And so, but if he can be selective about where he wants to go because he's getting paid really well here. To your point, the Nansen thing would make sense. Pete K, I mean, he's getting paid almost $2 million So that has to be a damn good opportunity for him to leave. Like if you're Pete, like if you're Pete, you could be, the Monty Kiffin to John Gruden, where you're just like, I'm your DC for life, for the most part, right? So, and I think I agree with everybody else. The sneaky one for me, honestly, the Nansen one's fine. The sneaky one for me is a guy like AJ Milwee, because someone's going to say at the end of the day, well, you have worked with Quinn Ewers, you have worked with Arch Manning, you've worked with a bunch of different guys, you worked with Steve Sarkisian. You know what? Why don't we get the guy who's been
Yeah.
picking Steve Sarkisian's brain for
And make
year
him the
after
new
year
head
after
coach
year?
at Tulsa or something
Exactly.
like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
He's the
Totally.
guy that's a sneaky good choice for me. For some
No,
Milwee would be another one.
I like that. I like that. Do you want to go one more each? Do we have enough
Yeah,
time?
yeah, we got time to do one more each.
You want a Longhorns one, or do you want one about Mac and Apple products?
Oh, let me go Mac and Apple. That's
Okay.
fine.
All right. So Mac and Apple products are worth the extra cost.
Bye.
I kind of think so too. I might be a huge
Bye.
sucker here, and this could be a whole thing where they just look down their noses at us from up in their big towers, and they're just like, "You donkeys, paying all
What?
this extra money." But to me, they feel better. They feel sturdier. They've been. I've had Mac products since I was or Apple and Mac products since I was, introduced to electronics. My parents always had them just for our home computers and stuff, and
Yeah.
I don't know anything different. And whenever I get these. I don't know. I'm asking you the question, but for me, the thing is, it's like I don't even know how when I on a regular PC, how to install drivers and do all this stuff like that. I just don't know how.
Let me tell you, as a guy who has a PC right now, I it's I feel like these things crash every 2 to 3 years. Like I literally feel like they crash every couple of years. In fact, I want to call someone out, but I got to be careful. But someone gifted me a PC because they work for PC company, and they're like, hey, and it was like the Mac Daddy of Dell products. The thing literally, Alice, the thing worked for like 3 weeks before it crashed.
Are you
Just
kidding? Oh.
just 3 weeks. 3 weeks. It was supposed to be like a
So that could have been
tank.
some user error, maybe 3 weeks.
No. It was a tank. The thing stopped working, and they're like, oh, and so I've been trying to get it back to this person so they can fix it, and they've been trying to make it right and things like that. And it was a gift, so I don't know everything about. No, I think that I've honestly been stupid. One of my big regrets is just not buying some sort of Apple product because I don't like the high price tag. But if I just would have taken every single one of these laptops that I bought and just bought one good Apple product, I probably would be good at this moment. So 100% buy. It's ridiculous. I'm just,
and the thing about Apple too is I know they can be expensive, but they let you pay monthly if you're buying a new computer or something. So it isn't too bad a hit right up at the very beginning. But anyway, okay.
All right, I got one last one for you, and then this is a tough one. You may not have any idea about this, but buy or sell. Oklahoma will have more wins than Texas A&M this season.
Oh man! All right, let me look up Texas A&M schedule. Texas A&M 2024 schedule. All right, so we have their. Oh golly, they open up with Notre Dame at Kyle Field.
Oh wow!
So they have. Is that right? 2024. Okay. McNeese. Okay, so McNeese is a win. Florida toss up. Bowling Green. Let's give them a win. Let's give them a win versus Arkansas. So we're at one. I'll give them a loss versus Notre Dame. Win here. I'll give them a loss versus Florida. A win versus Bowling Green. A win versus Arkansas. So we're at 2 losses. A loss versus Missouri. 3 losses. A win versus Mississippi State. A loss versus LSU. I'll just give them a win versus South Carolina. A win versus New Mexico State. I'll give them a loss versus Auburn and a loss versus Texas to end the season. So 5 losses for Texas A&M. Put it in the schedule books. Is this too many numbers for you, Anwar?
You know what? As a guy who likes sarcasm, that made me laugh.
Let's see here. 2024 football schedules. Oklahoma. So Temple Owls win. Houston Cougars win. Tulane Green Wave win. Tennessee Volunteers with no Joe Milton. Oh, but they're bringing in Nico Ima-Levea, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
Where's the game? Where's the game held at?
Gaylord Family Oklahoma Memorial Stadium in Norman, Oklahoma.
Okay.
I'm going to give them a win there.
Okay.
Win at Auburn. Texas Longhorns, I'll give them a loss there. South Carolina, I'll give them a win. Ole Miss, give them a loss. Maine Black Bears.
Oh, Maine, yeah.
That'll be a win.
Hey, what Maine? I think didn't Maine go toe to toe with like Baylor last year or something like that? I feel like.
Did they?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure. They did.
And then so I've met 2 losses of Texas and Ole Miss, and then their final 3 games are at Missouri, at home versus Alabama, at LSU. I say that they'll lose one to 2 of those 3. Dude, I think they might have this. No, they'll have 3 to 4 losses. Aggies will have 5. Oklahoma will have a better record than Texas A&M next season.
One of the odds that I saw, Alex, this is they had Texas A&M. I think at a DraftKings has got Texas A&M as a plus 2,000 as far as SEC championship odds are concerned, and got Oklahoma as a plus 4,000. Same for FanDuel.
Woo! They have double. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's value on that Oklahoma line. The plus 4,000. What do they have Texas as out of curiosity? Plus 800?
Plus 320.
320?
Yeah, on DraftKings.
So they're in second place behind Georgia?
Georgia, correct, at a plus 190.
What is Alabama?
Bama's as a plus 900.
And what's Ole Miss?
Plus 600. This is all DraftKings I'm looking at.
Huh.
Yeah, plus so it's got Georgia at a plus 190, Texas at a plus 320, Ole Miss at a plus 600, Alabama at a plus 900, and LSU as a plus 950. With at Texas A&M at a plus 2,000, Oklahoma as a plus 4,000, and Auburn at the rear of a plus 6,000.
Yeah, and they don't even put in like Vanderbilt and stuff like that. Hey, finally some respect around here, Anwar. What do you got to tell the people before we get out?
Poor Vandy. Man, appreciate you guys listening. Over 300 you guys in the chat, guys and girls in the chat. So please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I saw someone already put the QR code on there, so I appreciate that. Be back tomorrow. Alex will be speaking at a career day in front of the kids. Just tell them you're a YouTube guy, Alex, and they'll be good to go.
I think that's a good tip. I think it's a good tip.
They will love you. They're like, oh, you're on YouTube? Are you famous? But enjoy that. And remember, I always say live each day like it was your last, because one day it will be.
Now, thanks to everybody for watching. Thanks to everybody for being here in the chat. We got to get you guys in there to get us some likes. I'm looking at 343 people in the chat. Dude, I'm getting reports of 25 likes. Just come on, man. Help our day to be a little bit better, man. Give us some more likes. Help your own day to be better by doing something good for somebody today, man. Go out and do something big. All right. For Anwar, I'm Alex. We got a bunch of shows coming up here on the channel throughout the rest of the day. We will be seeing you very, very soon. Right.